Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Akira. This is me, and thank you very much for joining us for this special workshop. Um, recently, we've been asked a lot about okay, Richmen Gold II is our latest noodle machine, and then okay, so what kind of shapes and size of like different noodle types like this Richmen Gold can make, right? Then okay, yeah, well, it's very versatile machine, right? It's the latest noodle machine that like we've developed for those for planning to open up a micro noodle factory business, and then those of who've been running ramen shops in multiple locations, and then planning to do their own noodles, right? Small to mid size production volume. And then, we just wanted to kind of answer this question in a way that, like, everyone can understand, everyone can grasp, So, today's workshop, right, Megumi is going to make, show you guys, like, how a Richmond Gold 2 is capable of making, different shapes and different size of noodles. And then, but before that, right, I wanted to kind of explain the basics of, why and how this Richmond Gold 2 is capable of making different noodle shapes and different types of noodles and different shapes, right, different sizes. So, for me to be able to like explain it, let me dive into like a few slides I prepared, right? So, let's talk about, let me explain by going through, how versatile Richmond Gold is capable of, making different sizes, different shapes of noodles by going through these slides first, right? Okay, so yeah, as you can see in this picture, it's capable of making like different shapes and different sizes of noodles, right? Um, fresh noodles, from scratch, and in different sizes, different shapes, and using different ingredients, flavors, different colors, right? And then so I've been using this slide chart many times, but like let me go over this again, like for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about here. But like this chart describes different types of noodles, right? Um, basically, x-axis is like basically hydration level, right? Higher the hydration, softer the noodles, right? And then y-axis, the protein content of flour that's used to make these different types of noodles. Higher the protein content, the harder the noodle sizes, right? So thinner the noodles, softer. So when we are making thin noodles and then but soft noodles, right? Then it's just not a good noodle texture, right? Thin and soft noodle, like doesn't have a bite, doesn't give you a bite, so it's not a good noodle texture. So if you're making thin noodle, okay, let's make them hard, right? So thin and hard noodle, then that's like what we call low hydration noodles, right? It's like typically Hakata style tonkotsu noodles. And then soft, well, if you're making thick noodles, right? And then if if they are like thick and hard noodle, right? Then it's just like you know it's hard to eat, right? It's hard and thick, that's not a good noodle texture. So if you're making thick noodles, right, you want to make them soft, right? So like if you're talking about high hydration noodle like udon, right, tsukemen types. So that's why you can see in this chart, like there's no noodles that are like thin and soft, right? And then there are no noodles again that are thick and hard, right? Um, yeah, so that explains that. When Richmond Gold 2 covers most types of noodles, right? It has like very wide range of noodles that it can cover. Compared to like conventional pasta machines, which just can cover like noodles that are like an hydration level of like between 32 31% to like maybe 35% or so. But Richmond Gold 2 is capable of making noodles that are like between 25% and 45%. Okay, so hydration is the probably biggest variable that affect the noodle texture. And then, as you can see in this picture, from 25% to 45%, the big difference in terms of like condition of dough, right? And then hydration ratio and dough size, and then noodle size, it's correlated. And then again, like harder, lower the hydration, the harder. So like it should be smaller. The noodle size should be smaller, and then higher the hydration, right? Bigger and then softer, right? So like bigger noodle size, and then get. Oh, I'm okay. Very sorry, guys. So I guess like the screen hasn't been shown. But I guess those of you who are watching this, I'm assuming like from most of you guys are from like North America. So I just wanna introduce you guys to our new guy, who's awesome, uh, awesome guy from San Diego. His name is Destin. Like who joined us today, and then he's actually on the training here in Japan, like Kagawa, for field service technician, and then so we're very grateful for having him here, like on this headquarter Kagawa, and then he's an awesome guy, super nice, human being, like probably one of the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. So Destin, yeah. So Destin is pretty young. Yeah, she's living in San Diego,
Oceanside in San Diego.
Oceanside, San Diego, yeah. And then just recently joined us, and then so I think for those of you for I think you guys are going to be like he's going to be helping out guys with Destin. Please briefly introduce yourself, and then yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Destin Davis. I come from a long background of the service kind of engineering, process engineering. I recently just started with a company here as a field service and sales engineer. So anything that you all will need in California, I'll be your guy.
Yeah, thank you, Destin. Yeah, so we're just very happy to have him right here. Like, and then, yeah, he spent like probably 2 or 2.5 weeks already, like so far in Japan. Like, and then, the middle of nowhere in Kagawa and Japan. But like, I think it seems like he's having a pretty good time in Japan. He had never been to Japan. So, yeah, and then and then for those of you watching, right, Kagawa, I know it's the middle of nowhere, but like it's a wonderful kind of unique environment, unique place for you guys to visit, and then get an inspiration from a lot of places that you can visit here, right? So please consider visiting us like in Kagawa, right? So thank you, Destin.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. So okay, I think we had this PC set up for the kind of screen switching. So we get back to the slides, and then so fragile. So like getting to kind of production process of the making noodles, right? And then so the first process, like we go into after mixing, right? So we make dough, right? And then, they're still fragile, it's like crumbles of dough, right? So we want to make it into noodles. So like, we feed the dough into the roller. We call this process like rough forming, right? And then making a sheet of dough, right? And then, but still fragile, right? So like we want to make it strong, firm, right? So we want to, separate it and then combine them, right? Through a roller, right? Then, to make it firm. So this is the process of making dough, right? And then, when it comes to cutting, so this is the part of the the topic of this day, right? Today, is a cutting. So when we cut the dough, right, into noodles, we use this kind of cutter, sweeter cutter, right? And then, so for example, we are cutting it with the number 24, 1.3 millimeter cutter, and then the thickness, right, is, well, 1.1 millimeter. That's the ideal thickness for this cutter size, right? And then but the roller gap we set is 1.0 millimeter, or like even smaller roller gap, because actual thickness always like gets bigger, expands back. So um and then we have many different sizes of cutters for different types of noodles, right? um, and then square, and then we have different shapes, right? Square, round, edgy. Then we have yeah, but three basic types, right? The three basic shapes of cutters. So square shape cutter is the simplest in structure and most durable and versatile. And it can be used for all types of noodles, including variety of ramen, udon, soba, and Chinese noodles. But I've also seen like it's used to cut slit like fruit like nori, seaweed, into well for kind of like threads of nori, right? And then round cutter is the complex structure. It can be fragile depending on the usage, right? But it can be used for variety of ramen noodles and then other types of Asian noodles, right? And then of course, some types of pasta too, right? And the edgy shapes cutter creates sharp noodle surface by the acute angle of the blade edge. And then it's used to cut noodles with smooth, clean texture, right? Often we use this cutter to make kind of premium noodles, so we can charge more. Then different shapes of noodles, right? Square, rectangle, flat, round, edgy, right? And then this I think what's like unique about like ramen noodles is like reverse cut noodles. Thickness is bigger than width, right? This is very unique. You can see in these pictures that like square, round, actual noodle shape, right? This is square, flat, right? And then reverse cut, looks like a flat noodle, but like it's not like a reverse cut. Like so, the thickness is bigger than the width, right? Thickness bigger than width. That means that like cut surface, right? Cut surface is bigger, right? So it has like very large cut surface area, which absorb the soup or cooking water, right? So that means that like they get soggy first, but at the same time it has like the bigger absorbing capacity. I mean that well no, I mean the speed, right? Of absorbing the soup, right? So it's typically used for IK ramen noodles, which is famous in Yokohama city. Typically like with this like heavy tonkotsu stock, right? And so it has this type of noodle like can absorb tonkotsu stock noodles, pretty fast, and then so that you can actually taste the tonkotsu stock, more as you can well bite into these noodles, right? Reverse cut noodles to make it. So we set the roller gap right, kind of bigger, right, than the cutter that we are using. So basically, roller thickness can be controlled by the roller gap, and then width can be controlled by the cutter we use to cut these noodles, right? So in this example, we set the roller gap to 2.5 millimeter, right? But like but actual thickness comes out to bigger than that, right? 3.5 or something, 3.4. But the width is 1.5 millimeter. So that's how we make reverse cut noodles. Then another thing I want to touch on is that like making noodles curly, right? Kind of curly. It's pretty easy to do it. And then this we use this kind of a tool, a pair of I don't know silicone plates that we attach in the back of the cutter, right? And then adjusting the gap between these plates, right, we can adjust the curliness with these noodles, right? And then but other variables that control the curliness of the noodles is that, like, well, hydration and the noodle size and parts, I mean the thickness of the parts that we can use, right? So hydration, basically, higher the hydration, the softer the noodles, right? So like a curlier we can make, right? And then noodle size, basically thicker, or thinner, the softer, right? So that curlier we can make, right? The noodles. And then the parts, right? Thickness, the thicker the parts, we have 2 millimeter and 3 millimeter, thicker, the curlier we can make, right? So depending on how curly you want to make your noodles, right, you want to control these three variables. So so I just, and then lastly, this is the last thing, that I want to touch on this in the slides, but like adjusting the serving size. So you can adjust the serving size, with, well, I mean, serving size actually varies from, like, depending on these three variables. So of course, noodle length that we can control, right, on Richmen Gold II, that is very easy, that we can show later. But longer the noodle length, right, heavier, bigger the serving size, right? And then hydration, higher the hydration, the heavier the the noodle, so like the bigger than serving size, right? So, and then noodle size as well, thickness and width, right? So the bigger the noodle size, the heavier. So so even though you are making, okay, you want to do 130 grams, so like, I don't know, 5 ounces or something. But if you have a higher hydration, than well, the other type of noodle you're making, right? 30% hydration, and then you're making 40% hydration noodles, right? Uh, Even if you set the length at the same, if they come out like differently, right? Because the higher the hydration, the heavier, right? And then the noodle size is different, right? Then the setting of the length will be different. So yeah, you want to take a caution. You want to yeah, take these three variables into account when yeah, adjusting the serving size. So yeah, okay. So that's how you can make different size of noodles, different shapes of noodles, right? Different types of noodles in the Richmen Gold II. And then so now I just we want to show you guys how Richmen Gold II can make different uh, make noodles in different types. So this is a Richmen Gold II. It's a very, I mean, it's the latest noodle machine we have, right? And then it has like all the controls on touch panel, all digitally controlled. Then yeah, as you can see, like this machine is very compact, and then it's economically designed, so it's easy on your even workers, right? So your workers wouldn't be complaining, it's hard to, it's physically tiring, you know, every day to make noodles, right? In this machine, so it's very, yeah, easy and simple to use and operate. So yeah, maybe is placing this dough, which we do now, but of course, like you want, I mean, we have to do the mixing part, but like we only um, save you guys some time for the purpose of like showing you guys like how Richmen will do different types in different shapes and sizes, right? So yeah, probably a few manual operations involved, but like this is one of them. But like it just she just placing the dough, right? This came out of a noodle mixer to Richmen Gold II's And then usually our customers like use Richmen in combination of silicone mixer, like 25 kilo silicone mixer. Okay, start. Then this is the first process we talked about, right? Wrap forming. Basically you're feeding the dough into the roller, right? To make this sheet of dough, right? Just sheet of dough, but still fragile, right? But you know, to see like this crumbled dough, like formed into shape. And as you can see that just touch button, and then well, this machine is actually well checking out how much dough is like being fed into the roller, right? So by checking that, it's controlling the speed of the conveyor belt. The carrying the dough, right, into the roller, right? So there's the right amount of dough that's being that should be fed into the roller at a time. And then you see, like, make me um, put her hand like through the conveyor, right? And then so there's a sensor that's checking out, like you see, like see if like there's any object like coming through the the sensor, the cotton sensor. It's invisible, but like there's a sensor that's running, right? To check if there's anything that's coming through, right? It's a kind of one of the most advanced safe features, right? You can have on the commercial noodle machine. Um, so you can have the whole wide space open for the dough to be fed, right, in the roller, and then but it's very safe, right? And then so that was a rough forming part, and then as I said, like still pretty fragile, right? Still weak, right? So what we want to do is like we want to make him tougher, right? We want to make it firm. So we want to what we want to do is like we want to do this process like called like combining process. So what it is that like we want to separate it into two sheets, and then we want to combine them through the roller, right? We want to combine it through roller, and it's and then we want to feed it, right? Feed these two separate sheets of dough into roller, right? And then we'll combine them. Then so there's a button that says combining, right? And then so just pushing this button, right, once, or adjust the roller gap to the appropriate roller gap for this phase of for this process. So it's all kind of automatic, and this machine knows okay how what the roller gap like it should be set for this process. So you don't have to calculate, or you don't have to even think about it. You just all you have to remember is that push to the bottom, right? So it's very easy, like you don't have to know certain things, or you don't have to remember. Okay, so combining process. So basically the dough that's coming out is smoother, stronger than before. It's kind of like working out, or like working a muscle to kind of developing the dough, right? Gluten structure inside dough. So now it's the dough is rolled at like 3 millimeter. So this combining process is very important in developing the noodle texture. Like if you skip this process, then you wouldn't be able to make good noodle texture. So and then yeah, so we've been doing a lot of experimentation, and research, but so this process, we okay, how many times like we have to do this process to gain the maximum dough strength, right? And then so we found that like it's twice, right? It's 2 times. Um, one time, yeah, it's fairly okay, but like if you do it 2 times, and then we can get like maximum like strength into over the noodle texture, and then but like if you do it like 3 times, 4 times, like well, we found out like doesn't change much. Okay, so she pushed the button again, right? Then it's adjusted to almost like 4 millimeter, 3.9 millimeter. So second time, the combining, and then we started um, dusting. Yeah, so this machine like it's dusting like from the rear of the machine, right? And then it's dusting on the conveyor belt, and then so the dough, we want to stick them together, right? We want to combine them, right? So we don't want to dust because like dusting basically keeps the dough from sticking together, right? But like it's just dusting on the the other side of the dough, that's not sticking, combining, so it's okay, right? But yeah, we're combining for the second time, and then after that it's done. You know? So usually from after the second combining process, right? We want to rest it, but for the sake of this workshop, like we skip it. But let's let's take a measurement of thickness, right? Actual thickness. Yeah, as I said, actual thickness is always bigger than the roll gap we set, and then it's 5.4 from up we set 3.9. So there's a big difference. It's about we call it bounce back rate, and then 5.4. Then yeah, then she said that so yeah, usually setting the roll gap, and then so 3.0. So we want to thin it just a little bit to see how, right, how much it bounces back. And then we're gonna start broad cutting. We're thinning it to 3.0, and then you're going to measure it, measure the thickness, and see the Um, okay, and then because we are cutting this dough, right? Um, different cutters, so you want to separate it, before cut it, right? So um, it's 3.8, 3 point, yeah. So there's a yeah, there's a difference between, I mean, the bounce back rate, it's 0.8 millimeter. So manually setting the wall gap, right? And then so first cutter we use to cut, right, is this number 8 cutter, and then that's edgy cutter, like we talked about, right? So it has this very acute angle of cutter blade tip, right? And then um, you can make pretty sharp noodle surface, clean and sharp surface. So it's very it's usually used to make such noodles as udon noodles, like a premium tsukemen noodles. The number 8 is you know how we calculate width is basically 30 millimeter divided by the number on the cutter, right? So 30 divided by 8, right? So um, that gives you yeah, it's like almost like 3.8 something millimeter, right? So, so width, right? That's width. So, so, right, yeah. Okay, so kind of yes. So yeah. So it's a they're very thick, right? And then Sorry. I'm sorry. So it's 3.3, 3.3 by 3.8. Yeah. So this is side. Yeah. Um, and again, as I talk about like serving size, depends on the hydration, and then uh, yeah, yeah, hydration, and then length from noodles, and then size of the noodles. So yeah, so it's basically you wanna take a caution. I mean, yeah, so you wanna be careful to change the length, right? I mean, on this Richmond Gold 2, you can change the length, right, with these. But if you are cutting, well, if you're making different sizes, then different hydration, then you want to change the setting. You want to be careful with the setting. You won't be able to okay. So next color, number 18, like square. So square, it's very a simplest shape. Number 18 is about yeah, it's like 1.7, right? And then so square shape, so it's very simple, but pretty durable. Then yeah, for this cutter, yeah, we're making, I think this is a reverse cut, right? It's 1 point, yeah. So, so yeah, noodles coming out. Kind of short. Can we? Yeah, we check on that size. Yeah, that's the 3.2. Hmm. Then that's the width, right? Yeah, was 1.8. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's reverse cut noodles that we talked about. Or like a ramen. Yeah, it's called reverse cut because you know no shape of ramen noodles, and then well you know to, um noodle it's used and then in this like very popular type of ramen or ramen. So nowadays um, actually many customers um, for this type of noodle recipe, reverse cut noodles. But type of noodle texture, no good, but you know, it's very popular, and then people love it. So people love it. So yeah, it's good to know how you can make it. So you're making me for the thinning the dough for again like different cuts that she's gonna make. It's 2.6, yeah, 0.6 first. 3. Okay, so the next cutter number is round cutter, right? Number 16, round cutter number 16. So yeah, number 16 is around 2.0 millimeter, and then yeah, so it's a round cutter. Like it's very it's pretty complex shape, round cutter, the structure cutter, and then yeah, it's typically we use it for pasta like spaghetti, any kind of pasta. But yeah, certain ramen noodles use this kind of cutter like round shape, and then yeah, so like for particular the noodle texture, right? It's pretty good noodle texture, and then certain types of like Chinese noodles as well, round shape. But yeah, the issue, you know, particular issue like we see using this kata is that like because of the complex structure of this kata, right? Depending on usage, how you use it, like what kind of noodles you, yeah. So let's look at shape, round, kind of more like oval shape, rather than completely round. Um, yeah, so the issue with this round cutter is like depending on the usage, how you properly maintain it and stuff like that. But issue with this is that like it's fragile, like it's the complex structure. It tends to you know get damaged, like tend to break faster than square shape cutter. So yeah, so if you can use your square shape cutter like for say 5 years without any problems, but like round shape cutter may break like probably in like probably 2 years or something, so you want to keep in mind like when choosing a cutter. Anyway, so yeah. But if you have fair type of noodle that you want to make, and then which requires a round cutter, then go with the round cutter, for sure. But yeah. But one thing you want to keep in mind is that like, well, it may not last as long as yeah. for I guess scrapers, right? There are scrapers that are needed like on this cutter, and then scrapers like well may need to be replaced, right? From time to time, but like um, yeah. So the scrapers, you probably have to replace them like more frequently for round cutter. 1.4, after it's going to 1.0. Okay. Yeah. So separating again for different cuts, right? Different cuts. So the next cut is number 24. Oh, 24 at 1.3 millimeter, and then it's a square shape. And then so typically, right? So this cutter is used for Hakata style tonkotsu noodles, right? It's very, I mean, I think it's the most popular type of ramen noodles, in the world, right? For sure. Um, but yeah, but as I talked about, right? This type of noodles is low hydration noodles, right? I think this dough is like not a lot. Well, it's kind of like medium to high hydration noodle dough. So it's not suitable, but um, just to show you guys, different sizes and different shapes, right? But so it's very thin, 1.3 millimeter width, and then thickness is like almost like 1.1 millimeter. So it's very thin. Then it has this like very distinctive noodle texture. Hard, crunchy kind of texture, like kind of um, it has it's very thin, small, but like when you bite into them, right? Like you get this kind of like unique sensation that you know biting through these noodles, like very crunchy texture. So um, yeah, so we use this caliper to like check the noodles, right? Because noodle size is very important. 1.1 millimeter thick, then yeah, um, point one, yeah. So that's the kind of ideal thickness, right? Ideal size for this noodle cutter. And then so for the last right cut for the last cut you know want to go kind of extreme, right? Kind of extreme. um Sorry, somebody's asking. Huh, I need a cardboard casket. Sorry, I don't understand what the Carbon casket. I don't understand the question, but anyway, so the last car, right, is I don't go extreme. You know, it's like number 30, which is like 1.0 millimeter, right, width. Um, yeah. So this kind of noodle size is typically used for the most probably popular Chinese noodles in the world. That's um, Hong Kong style, wonton egg noodles, right? Yeah. Uh, yeah, more and more people, growing up people are actually, well, wanting to make this type of noodles because of its, distinctive taste and noodle texture. Yeah, um, it's a very unique. Yeah, it brings out like very unique noodle texture, right? Because it's very hard, right? And the crunchy, like very very crunchy. Like it's kind of different type of crunchiness that you can get in like tonkotsu, Hakata style noodles than in this Hong Kong style wonton noodles, because it uses fresh eggs, right, instead of water. It doesn't use any water, so it uses fresh eggs, right? Egg liquid, right? So you know it's very hard to like imitate this egg texture built with eggs, right? That other than using eggs, right? So it's very thin, extremely thin, right? But like it's very crunchy, and it gives you like this satisfying like kind of bite, right? So um, see, like different noodle sizes, different noodle shapes, right? Um, that you can achieve with this Richmen Gold II machine. From see like round shape, and then square, but like very very thin, right? And then like very thick noodles, like udon noodles, right? um, yeah, the edgy cut, right? It's a very sharp noodle surface that that you can um, yeah, and then serving size, it's very easy to control, you know, and then curly noodles that you can make, right? Is yeah, that it's very easy to do it with this. I'm not sure if we have it. I think we have it. That yeah, so we have this kind of tool, right? We talked about this. Yeah, the silicone plates, right? Different thickness. Then you can control the curliness of it, and then you can put them in the back of the cutter, right? To make them curly. It's very easy to do, right? So just we are talking about like, so you just making noodles stuck like temporarily, right, between these plates, right? And then because these plates are elastic, but like we can make a noodle stuck in there for a little bit, and then not a batch of noodle come kind of push them out, right? And then make the noodles curly. So it's very easy to do. And then so we're just talking about different shapes, different sizes, right, of noodles. But like, well, of course you can make them different. You can put different ingredients, right, different color, then yeah, different ingredients, right? And then it's very easy. Gluten-free noodles, right? And then we're gonna put low carb noodles, right? So next week, next Friday actually, we're gonna be doing kind of that kind of noodles as well. Next week. Um, okay. Okay. Yeah. So someone asking like how much the machine. It depends on the where you guys are going to be using them. So yeah, because you know we have them like different, for United States, right? We have like US, NSF, UL, CSA, that's like Canadian safe certificate, right? And then for Europe, we have a certified for CE mark, right? For elsewhere, we have like a just Japanese version, and then, but we ship elsewhere in the world. So if you have yeah, so if you can tell us like where intend to use them, like we can send you guys the pricing as well. So please let us know, right? So you know the one thing that we just talk about different sizes, different shapes, right? Just one variable that you can make your craft noodles unique, right? But ingredients, right? Hydration, right? The other two big variables that you can control to make your craft noodles, very unique, right? And stand out in the market. So next Friday, what we're talking about next Friday is, that sort of, variable, right? Um, so next Friday, we're doing something else, like, the way to make your craft noodles more, unique, right? Stand on your market. So please stay tuned next week, workshop, that's coming out Friday. We're going to be announcing it like pretty soon on the website. So please check back on website, right? And then so okay, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like this kind of content, like please hit the like button. And then yeah, so and then if you have any like any kind of interest in any kind of topic that you want us to talk about, please send us in comments or send us like some emails, right? Let us know. Okay, so that's it. That's what we had in this class workshop. So thanks so much for your watching, and then we'll hope to see you guys back in the next workshop. So thanks so much. Bye bye.